Call to order. Adoption of agenda.
Council adopt the agenda as presented.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Adoption of minutes 3.1 recommendation.
The council adopt the minutes from the regular council meeting held on August 19th, 2020.
Can I get a seconder? Second. Discussion? All in favor? Introduction of late items. We have 8.3 unmarked graves. Public hearing, none. Delegation, none. Unfinished business, business arising from the minutes. New business, 8.1 recommendation.
The council approve an increase to the capital and, whoops, I got the wrong. Well, that's the same one. Approved an increase to the capital and special project budget by $40,000 to complete the sidewalk project.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? None?
How did that increase come about? Why?
Yep, thank you, Worship. So I've got the numbers here in front of me. So the total budget from the budget process, the capital and special projects, was $100,000 for the 51st Street sidewalks. And the museum sidewalk piece, we lumped that into $20,000, and that included the Caboose project and the sidewalks. So after we approved the Caboose project, the remaining budget there was $14,540 for a total of $114,540 for those two projects. The quote we received, or the tender we received from the contractor, was $125,095. So that's still valid, of course. That hasn't changed. They've still committed to doing the project for that. So that left a budget deficiency of $10,555. Before that was approved, and since it's been approved, Urban Systems has billed us $13,070 for project management and design here to date. And they estimate there's still $10,000 remaining to manage the project boots on the ground once it starts. So that's $33,625, and then we included a small contingency in case they bump into something that wasn't done. So we estimate about $40,000. Both Urban Systems and of course the contingency piece. So we're highly likely to have it finished for less than that $40,000 increase.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
This is starting in September and school starts next week apparently. The bus, that's about the bus route. Have they been informed?
Chris?
Yeah, thank you, Worship. So the work is all going to be taking place on 51st. And the contractors mentioned that they're only going to be probably blocking off partial lane on 51st. There'll still be room for traffic to go down that. And in terms of the timeline, it's getting tight. So we did make that known to the contractor. The contractor was issued the notice to proceed on August the 19th. So, and the contract that you guys approved and the tender requires substantial completion on September 30th. So we've got between now and then to get it done.
Any more questions? Barb?
This extra money, where is it coming from?
It'll be from the general fund.
General fund, we're not dipping into something else.
No, we've got, I'm going to quote the number right now, it's $7 million in the allocated general operating fund.
So we're taking money out of the big pot when you say million? I'm confused.
I'm not sure if I'll.
Chris, do you want to explain where the money exactly is coming from?
From the village's savings. According to the 2019 financial statements, we had approximately $5.2 million in the bank.
Okay. Any more questions?
No.
All in favor? 8.2 recommendation.
That council received a report on the cemetery budget for discussion.
Second. Any discussion? So, Chris, it says here, in February, council approved $2,500 right? And now we need more for the shed.
Yeah, correct. No, not necessarily for the shed, your worship.
With 1,700.
So the cemetery budget, when we look at, so the shed's already been purchased. So largely what's happened now is that small $2,500 annual maintenance budget has been eaten up. Mostly from that unforeseen shed, you know, literally it was leaning and it was falling over, it wasn't safe anymore. So, and the cemetery budget is one of those budget amounts that we've compressed and compressed and compressed over the years to kind of, you know, just do what we've been doing with the budget, save money here and there. So what we've been, you know, I think I mentioned it a couple of meetings ago, you know, we would like to continue to do a couple more improvements to the cemetery here this year. So we're wondering if council is okay with an increase to get that done this year, or
And how much do you think?
when I went and talked to one of the gravel contractors, suppliers in town, we're looking at about $2,000 of gravel if we want to do that this year. We've also discussed putting up a privacy fence around where the piles of excavated dirt are. Personally, I find them a little bit unsightly. Might be nice to put something there to block those from the public view. Eventually, and this was Sandy and I were walking around, the corporate officer and I were walking around the cemetery. It would be nice to put some pathways down in between the rows and that type of thing, but you know, I don't know if we have time left in the construction season to do all of that. But I think given that the road is in pretty poor condition, there's some fairly deep ruts in there, might be nice to get at least that done this year. So maybe $2,500 or $3,000 if council wants to get that done this year.
And the name tags for the unmarked graves.
Yeah. Are you gonna be putting gravel for the pathway?
Yeah, and I've chosen some nice ornamental looking stuff which should look quite nice. Yeah.
Right, Barb?
If you put fence around the dirt, is that new fence or is that fence that we would already have?
No, that would be newly built wooden sort of privacy fence, Councillor Smith. Probably something nice stained and you know, around there.
Because there's 3 different piles there.
Yeah, along the back to the right of where the shed is. So the thought is, with the discussion with the Director of Public Works, would be the fence would be built in sort of an L shape, and there'd be gates where the shed is right now, so that we could open those, get the backhoe in, the backhoe has room to do its thing, it comes up, closes the gates, then people coming into the cemetery aren't staring at those big overgrown piles of dirt, because we don't mow them or do anything, they're like 20 feet high. Or covered
Why
in
do we
grass.
need the dirt?
The dirt's mostly from the excavated graves, and it's there for reserve if we need to fill stuff in, but it's, yeah.
Will they be left in 3 separate piles or will that be combined together?
There's been no discussion about that, but we can look at it too. Yeah.
Elaine, do you have something to say?
No,
No. So you want $2,500?
Yeah, 2,500 or 3,000, your worship, ought to do that for the year. Yeah.
3,000? All in favor? So 8.3, the unmarked graves. So, I had a friend of mine do this for me, because it's been since 2016, not done. So, Sandy, can you phone Rainers and see the pricing on some of the markers? Okay. And then bring that back to council, please, for pricing. Okay, thank you. 9.1, correspondence, has anybody seen the correspondence here? Chris, on the bylaw, just, so when the bylaw officer goes down and closes the park out, is that in his contract?
No, it's not, your worship. That's something that he's doing above and beyond the requirements of the contract.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So anything else does he do up and above his contract?
Yeah, yes, so, the contract is somewhat prescriptive. So just speaking off the top of my head, animal.
Well, I just see
retention.
here in this one that he delivered dogs with his own personal vehicle out of town.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
Yeah. I'm also aware of animals that he's kept at his personal residence for upwards of 2 weeks,
Yep.
when the bylaw says 96 hours before we give the animal away, so.
Well, maybe we should have another conversation with him.
We're actually in the process of that, your worship, following your direction from the last meeting there, so. Yeah, that'll be on the next council meeting.
Okay, thank you. Alright.
And also taking pictures. My brother was walking my mother up the hill, and these dogs came after her. And he's telling me this story. And I said to him, "Did you take a picture?" He said, "Are you crazy?" He said, "When an animal is attacking your mother, you want me to take a picture?" I'm sorry. I apologize. That was ridiculous.
Didn't think about that one.
Yeah, but taking pictures is rather difficult, and it's been stated
When you're chasing,
before.
when you're chasing.
Yes.
I know the bylaw officer does try to take pictures for any relevant case files and stuff like that, so a lot of the derelict property files he's been working on, there's been pictures all along from start to finish to show what the resident's done and that type of thing, so. But you're absolutely right. In an attack situation, it's kind of tough to say, hold that ankle bite, I just want to get my camera.
Oh, stop! It's okay, Mom. Push
Yeah,
it out of the way.
Just a question. I think I reviewed a draft of the chicken bylaw. Was that going to be brought up today? Or is that here yet?
It's on the agenda.
Oh, okay, it's on the agenda. And that's under correspondence or?
Under bylaws. Bylaws.
It's just the first draft, it's
It's
not
on
the first, second, third.
11.1.
That's where.
So we're on correspondence right now, so if
That's
anybody
right.
has any correspondence that they wanna look at?
I just wanted to ask if this MIABC, they provide insurance to municipalities for their buildings? Okay.
Liability insurance, or
Municipal Association.
Chris?
Yeah, thank you. They also provide liability insurance for example.
Okay.
So, did anybody wanna go to that meeting? Maybe by Skype?
Go out there. I have no idea. I've attended many of them. When I was on council, I didn't understand everything that they were talking about. Well, it's all money, right? Well, bookkeeping stuff.
No, you're not a writer. No, you're not. No, me either.
So Chris, would you be attending that?
No, I don't believe so.
So resolutions, none, bylaws, 11.1 recommendation.
Council received a draft from Ken keeping bylaw for discussion.
Have a seconder?
Second.
Discussion.
I think it was really well done up.
You don't find anything wrong with
I do, perhaps more for clarification or perhaps a reason, and I'm open to everything here, a reason as to why this was inserted, and that would be 6B. Obtain written permission from neighbors inside and or behind.
it? That's because we had residents ask to have that addressed into the bylaw.
And you also brought that up too.
No, that was a letter that was written.
No, I know, but I mean, he also brought it up to discuss it.
Oh,
I thought it was kind of silly because, you know, do we ask our neighbors if we can have a dog or a cat? And do we ask our neighbors if we can have children?
Well,
So-
we should in some cases.
And so I'm not certain as to whether this, I haven't received any correspondence, I believe, with regards to this and had it voted on by council.
Well, this hasn't been voted on, this is our first draft.
This is the first one.
So if we don't want this in the,
We can take it out.
we take it out.
Okay.
But just put it in there for the sake of the person that brought the letter forward, asking that.
You did have a person send an email and drop a letter and voice their concern, and you had over 100 people who own property in the village have no problem with it.
Chris?
Yeah, thank you, Worship. So maybe just for clarification, it might feel the council like this is sort of the first reading maybe or something along those lines, but to your point, Your Worship, this is sort of, you know, mostly Mrs. Stokes, this has been her
Thank you,
her
Sandy.
project, yeah, from the start, so, you know, and I went back and forth between her and I a couple of times, and really it's sort of a you know, conglomerate of everything we could think of that's sort of been discussed and ideas thrown around, and the intent of this document is to, like you say, put it out to you guys, and have you guys literally, yeah, yay or nay, pieces, and oh, you're missing this, we wanna add that, so really it's a bait just to put something in front of you to get the discussion going. We're likely, because this is something new and somewhat contentious, gonna have to bring back a second and possibly even a third draft before we get to the actual readings. But we wanna make sure that once we get to the first, second, and third reading, that the document is exactly like you guys wanna see it. So,
The 8B as well. Keep or permit to be kept any chickens younger than 4 months on property they own or occupy. It's
What was that, Ken? You didn't put your hand up, so what was that? Ken?
8B, keep or permit to be kept any chicken younger than 4 months on property they own or occupy. So that's,
What's the reason? What's the reason behind that?
Sandy, did you pull this from Dawson Creek?
Some from North Van, some from Kamloops. I kind of pulled a little bit and not knowing what exactly everyone's looking for, I
Right.
just kind of listed things and figured, like CAO said, we could take out, put in.
Yeah.
And just so you know, there is a piece missing because I haven't drafted it yet, and that's the permit. I'm working on that right now.
The only thing I care about is if their yards are clean and healthy.
Yeah, and there's a section that
Yeah,
references
and
the
that's
bylaws.
all I care about, and they're licensed. Chris?
I think, Your Worship, we might be able to work through this the same way we sort of work through the budget projects. So if a councillor has something they want to add or remove, so Councillor Drover, you've mentioned too, might not hurt to say, okay, line item 6B I don't like, is everybody in favor of removing that? And just put it to a quick vote, to take it out, we'll note that it's gone and go from there.
If they're younger than 4 months, they're only chicks. They're not gonna make any noise. Wonder what the reason
Well, that was
was for that one.
probably so somebody doesn't have a whole bunch of them, right? And then they have babies and.
I think that was pulled from the North Van, so maybe because they're closer together, or
But it still always says you can only have 4, right?
So Sandy, you have the two that Ken has requested to have out of there?
did you guys want to vote on whether or not they stay or go?
I vote that they can go.
well, we can have a vote, see if they go.
One second.
Oh.
We talking both of them or just 6B?
Both of them,
Both of them, 6B and 8B?
yeah. And my-
I all the way through it, that we're not at 4.
Did everybody vote?
I think Councillor Smith has something to say.
You don't want to say.
Oh,
Or do you
I
want to
just,
vote?
what, okay,
Oh,
I
did
can vote, yeah,
Yeah. Did you want to say something?
yes.
Okay, say something first.
Do we have any, if people want to keep their chickens throughout the winter, do we have any, like,
Heated lambs? But they have
Pardon me?
heated lambs?
yeah, do we have any policies or procedures, like,
Would all this be the same?
Basically.
There's something in here.
if 40 below, you know what I mean? Is the bylaw enforcement officer going to check on these chickens during the winter? Like, I'm just throwing questions out here.
Can I respond to that? That's a great question. It all depends on the type, the breed of chicken you have. Like a southern type chicken is not going to do well in the climate. My coop is non-insulated and non-heated, and that's the design. The design is over 100 years old. But I have an extreme cold hardy chicken to be in that coop. So now one of the problems with heat lamps is the birds fly around in the coop and feathers go up and they can touch the heat lamp, catch fire, come down and cause a fire. So if we're saying you must have heat lamps, I caution.
I'm not saying that,
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
There are
we're
other
gonna
methods
have-
of heating if you wish
Are we
to.
going to have any, because coming from a farm, we would collect the eggs and then in the fall, you butchered all your chickens, and the next spring, you got the little chicks up at the post office again and started again. So, but, 4 chickens is not gonna be warm in the chicken coop versus our 50 chickens from growing up on the farm. That's why I'm asking about winter.
So then do we specify a certain, chicken?
Yeah.
Like, or we, like, I have no idea.
Put a thing in there, an addendum in there or something to the fact that it's.
Do we have to regulate everything? Can we just leave it to go?
No, we don't.
If
I'm
they
just
say
saying,
on a summer chicken and it becomes a hockey puck, well, I mean, there's nothing that.
that's not our fault.
That's not our fault.
Well,
it will.
What about 8G slaughter?
Yeah,
I just read that. Well, if you wanna kill them, eat them, you gotta slaughter them.
Not at home.
why? Axe, chocolate block.
You can even get cones now, that you can turn them upside down and then just take them out.
Oh,
But you know, Crystal will be upset.
Thank you, just because we were on the topic of the animal control officer there a few moments ago too, just to let council know. Once we decide exactly what the process is, the language and all this, there's likely going to need to be another meeting with him as well, because when we're talking inspections of chicken coops, totally not the scope of his current contract.
Yeah.
So we'll have to.
But who does that?
Well, it'd be him for sure, but we're gonna have to make sure that we rework the contract to include that additional work.
Does this umbrella businesses? I know that someone wants to do business for chicken coops, renting.
But can they have more than 4? Like, do we have that in our bylaw?
we have 6.
I think that's maybe September only.
Yes.
Sam,
Our maximum is 4, that's what you guys said out. We also have in here right now, it states that they are not allowed to sell. They're not for sale, they're just for personal use.
So that would omit renting chickens.
no, they can rent them, they just can't sell the chickens.
They can't sell the chickens, they can't sell the eggs.
Okay,
That's
that's
no
no different.
retention.
No, but if
No.
they're gonna sell the chickens, they need a business license, right?
Well, their intention is to
Well, yeah, I
rent.
think so. But the one, if you're talking about who I think you are, she doesn't live in Coos.
No,
She lives outside of Coos.
You should still need a business license to operate.
Not from us.
Yeah, probably.
yes.
Outside of Coos?
Well, she's
No,
not, if she's
maybe-
not, but if she's
Well, in
renting-
the village.
Oh, right, oh, I see what you mean, okay.
Yeah, okay, you got it.
Yes, yes, she would.
Yeah, so we should maybe put that in there, that if they're gonna sell their eggs or anything, they have to have a business license.
We've actually written it up that it's not.
No.
They can't sell their eggs.
No, so,
The poor hens.
we don't know. We have lots of chicken eggs with it. But anything else? Else to be changed? For now. So we're voting on the 2 things that Ken requested to have taken out.
You can't do the slaughter? They get slaughtered in the new village? You gotta go inside the village to slaughter your chicken.
So, the vote is to take the 2 things out of here, right? So all in favor? No opposed? Okay.
So is that a vote approving this draft? or-
No, to take a,
To take a few things out, and then Sandy will bring it back to us again, and we'll review it again. Administration reports, CAO reports. Chris, do you have a report?
Thank you, Your Worship. None at this time. I was on holidays there last week.
Okay. Action items? No change? Sidewalk, we started?
Action.
it's getting small.
Anybody see anything on there? Bart?
The community policing office, is he going to give us monthly reports on something to do with Kuskubi
Or
or
usually gives us reports, a quarterly report.
quarterly? Okay.
So capital special projects, anybody see anything? Right.
Tourism video. We saw the, I don't even know what you call it.
Script.
And he was going to come back and make changes to it, but we never did see that.
So you're requesting through him to.
It would have been nice
Bring a
to
motion
see
on
it.
the floor to,
And where is this video?
what's not done yet?
Oh, it's not done yet.
That's-
It's
Okay.
3 years.
Yes.
Do you want him to bring in the trailers so that we can see it?
Yeah, I would like to.
Okay, so you can put a motion on the floor.
Yes, I'll put a motion on the floor that we get, Mr. Brown to bring back his,
Trailer.
no,
It's a video trailer.
Movie trailer?
Video trailer.
I'd probably just say it comes as a delegation.
Yeah.
Can I make an amendment to that?
Yeah.
We'd like to see it before we actually send a check.
I
it's
thought it
done.
was like the check is sent.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I have a second to Marlene's motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
in favor? Anything else? Okay. Councilors' calendars? Oh, it's a long weekend.
Yeah, Wednesday.
What's this, NE?
Northeast Regional Advisory Committee meeting, it's councilor stuff.
And we're not doing anything virtually for UBCM.
No.
Okay. Councilor White, you have a report?
The only thing I have to report is I attended the grand opening of the police. Whatever it was. The ribbon cutting!
Councilor Smith,
I have nothing to report.
Councilor Hebert, did you not go to the meeting on the 28th? 28th? The PRD?
The meeting wasn't on the 28th, that was just
I said-
information. Yeah, I forwarded it out to,
Wasn't that a meeting? Is there a meeting?
they're still sending out info.
Okay. Councilor Hebert?
Oh, I attended the ribbon cutting for the opening of
You know the
the,
date?
on the,
24th,
24th.
no, 20, yeah,
was it the 25th?
yeah, it's 24th.
25th.
25th, yes. And after doing that, went to the post office, met with the plumber, And I spoke briefly with the postmistress over there about how she was feeling about the whole thing. And when the plumber came in and said, what we want is something inexpensive to make this as great as possible for everyone concerned. Now, when he looked at that, he said that if we changed the sink and had a hose attached to the tap, siphoning could take place from the bucket that you're filling and go back into the water system. And I said, that is not what I want. So we passed by on that. And he said he could add this siphon valve to the pipes that exist already by the hot water tank. So we put in a siphon valve so that that won't occur won't back up back into the hot water tank or into the water system. And it was done very cheaply. And he attached their cabinet to the wall because it was wiggly and he didn't like that. Let's see if he fixed that.
Shout out to Dave Lacassi.
Exactly. And then went over to the museum, got their bank statements here because their bookkeeper had time to do things and have a pile here. And I'm assuming you received these as well, Sandy. I'm like,
I'll put one in the file.
yeah, okay. And their summer student is finished and said goodbye to her, and she's expressed a great interest in coming back next year, and I just think it's marvelous.
Yeah, she did a wonderful job. She,
Absolutely amazing job.
well, she's just like her mom.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so.
And Bruce, is it done?
The caboose was being painted the last time I was there, and sure it's finished.
Councillor Dorwin?
I don't have anything to report per se. But I did want to give a shout out. I went and I had some tablecloths and napkins embroidered here in town. And at the embroidery.
Sharman's?
Sharman's. And it was all very custom. You know, I'm from the East Coast, so we incorporated a lot of Inuit stuff. And my wife is Métis, so a lot of Métis symbols. And she just put it all together, and oh my goodness, it was beautiful. So that's my report.
Did you take pictures?
I have it, I can bring it.
Awesome. Love to
Next
see
week.
it.
Next council meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I have no report, but I have no report tonight, but I do have a statement. I see that there is another closed meeting item on labor relations on the agenda tonight. I want the public to know that this is the 10th time labor relations has been on the agenda since December 2019. All financial records of the municipality are public information, so I also want the public to know that you have wasted $6,500 on legal fees and staff time on labor relations since December 2019. This is ridiculous. As the mayor of this village, it is my duty to provide leadership to council, so I am reminding you that you are elected and you are paid by the public to make decisions. Not waste the taxpayers' time and money by stringing things along for 9 months. I want the public to have confidence in this council they elected, and so I trust we won't be wasting any more tax dollar money by seeing this matter on another agenda for the 11th time. That's all I have to say. So, 14 in camera as per section 91 of the community charter as per section 91. See labor relations of an employee's relations. See labor relations of another employee's relations. 15, rising report. 16, move to in camera.
Can we get a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Sandy, I'm going to be honest.
questions?